Well, it happened again, as we always knew it would. The Kansas City Chiefs spank the Baltimore Ravens. Quick apologies for the audio quality, video quality. I am out of the country on vacation. I didn't want to pack up all my gear, but I wanted to post something, so you're getting this. Normally, the production quality on the channel is much better. Regardless, I just want to talk about the Chiefs and the Ravens game because it was just constant discussion for weeks about how bad the Chiefs looked, about how they lost their mojo, about how they'd be lucky to be a playoff team. And I don't know why so many people lost the ability to have nuance and realize, they knew they were going to have Rice out for 6 weeks. And then essentially the first play of the Chargers game, week 1, Xavier Worthy gets hurt. Most of the game plan is structured around him. He's really your only guy you can count on as a vertical threat. And people are like, oh, the offense is terrible. It's absolute disaster. The Chiefs are done. Instead of coming to, the logical conclusion, which is, well, they're struggling because they don't have any weapons. Once they get their guys back, they'll probably be okay, which is exactly what happened. One of the things that came out of the Worthy injury and the Rice suspension is Tyquan Thornton kind of becoming a deep threat option for Mahomes. How reliable will he be as the season goes along? We'll have to see, but he's been a legit option. And we see in the Ravens game, when they have Xavier Worthy back, it opens up the rest of the offense because then the defense has someone they have to worry about. And Mahomes was targeting him down the field often. He hit a couple, missed a few, but even if you're missing it, it still keeps the defense on their heels because they have to be aware of it. And with Xavier Worthy there, it just opens up the field for Juju, for Kelsey, who had a great game. Brashard Smith getting more touches at running back. He was a big piece of the offense in that Ravens game. I think you're going to see more of him as the season progresses. And a lot of tight under center sets, like they come out with 6 down linemen, have the threat of the run. Move Patrick, move the pocket outside, play action, get the defenders biting on the run with heavy sets, formations, staying under center. It was an excellent game plan by Andy Reid. I hope we see more of that going forward. They don't have to live under center, but they can't live just in constant shotgun RPO. It was a dominating performance. My worry after the week 1 game was the defense. I figured the offense would figure it out once they got their guys back. The defense was awful in week 1. Since then, the Chiefs' defense has been great. So it's been kind of a relief to see. Obviously, they're back in the hunt, especially with the Chargers' loss against the Giants. They're a game and a half out of first place in the AFC West. Anybody who doubted the Chiefs, I understand you want to hate them. I get it. But we could have all had a logical conversation about this. And instead, every year, it's always, what's wrong with the Chiefs? Let's go to the other side for a minute and talk about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Some people think it's hyperbolic or a little much to talk about Lamar wilting in big games and the moment being too big for him. It's just the truth. It's not even a narrative at this point. We've seen it. There is a huge sample size of it. And Lamar gets tight in games against Patrick Mahomes and games against Josh Allen. He's an excellent regular season quarterback. We've seen him struggle in the big moments in the postseason. And this was a big game. Both teams don't want to come out of this game 1-3, really need this win to turn the season around. And it's not that the Ravens lost a tight game at the end against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. That's one thing. They got physically manhandled and beat down, coming off of a week where they got beat down by the Detroit Lions in a different way. The Lions just punched them in the mouth and ran down the gut over and over and over. And the Chiefs unleashed Patrick Mahomes and hit him downfield and checked down over the top, just constantly moving downfield, scoring points, getting in the red zone. It's as impressive a performance as Kansas City could have. And if you're Baltimore and Lamar, you have to be reeling because Baltimore's defense is really, really bad. They suffered a lot of injuries in that game. But that's not an excuse. They were losing before they started to mount on those injuries, but it's an issue. I give credit to Spags because the way he brought the pressure, like he'd bring 3 or 4, act like he was bringing a rusher, keep him in as a spy, so when Lamar stepped up in the pocket, he would be able to attack him. They completely limited Lamar. I will say, it did look like Lamar maybe wasn't 100% healthy. Maybe the hamstring was bothering him before the game, because there were a couple moments where he didn't even try to make a guy miss. He just kind of went down and accepted his fate. A lot of that could be the hamstring, but a lot of that also is mental. And it's the fact that he just does get tight in these moments. That doesn't mean he can't get over it. That doesn't mean he can't win a Super Bowl. He is one of the all-time great NFL players I've ever seen in my life. But it is just a reality that he struggles in these big moments, and he chokes is a strong word, but I can't think of a better one. Wilts under the pressure. I also wonder what this means for Harbaugh, and if just something has to change after this year, because he's such a good coach, and the Ravens are constantly a contender, but obviously a lot of that is because of Lamar Jackson and the wonderful regular seasons he has. Derrick Henry getting 8 or 9 touches, whatever it was in that game, is unforgivable. And it's not like they were down 24 points early and had to throw to get back in it. It was a close game through the first half. I think it was 20-10 at half, and they just got away from Derrick Henry. And we know the big weakness of this Chiefs secondary, of this Chiefs defense, is the rush defense. The line doesn't play well in run D. The secondary also doesn't play well in run D. And the Ravens, it's just the same old story. They refuse to attack it. They refuse to use the running back they go out and get. Last year, we've seen them use Henry a lot in the regular season, then get to the playoffs and they just stop. In this game, they didn't even try. They didn't even try to use Henry to get back into it. Not having him on the field in a lot of big moments, you get like a 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, whatever, and you don't have Henry on the field, even if you're not going to hand it off to him. This has been something I've talked about before with the Ravens. Why are you not going to have him in the package in those situations? Because if he's not on the field, the defense isn't worried about it. If Derrick Henry's back there on 3rd and short, 4th and short, the defense has to be ready for Derrick Henry, and then you can hit him over the top. They just don't utilize him in the right way. Ultimately, that falls on someone. It's going to fall on the coaching. I don't think the Ravens season is over by any means. The AFC is kind of wide open. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of elite teams, especially with the Chargers suffering the injury, losing at the Giants. It's kind of a mess. Everything's up in the air in the AFC. So although they're 1-3, I think the Ravens can climb back. But if something special doesn't happen this year, you have to wonder if Baltimore makes a change and Harbaugh just moves on somewhere else. He would be hired immediately, but sometimes it's just time to part ways. Look at Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Both have been great since they parted ways. It's not even necessarily anybody's fault. It just reaches that point where it might be time for something new. Something to keep an eye on, how the Ravens rally from this. If Lamar is healthy, if that injury lingers, what that looks like, and if Kansas City can keep this kind of offense going and what they look like when they bring Rashee Rice back. I still want more of a run game from Kansas City. Not being able to run the ball effectively could be a problem as you get later into November, December, January. However, a lot of their schemes around the run game, they use those short passes that are supplemental to the run game. They essentially serve as their run game. The end arounds with Xavier Worthy, he was their leading rusher. Very, very great time to be a Chiefs fan. A beatdown that they definitely needed, and the Ravens have a lot of things to fix out. Obviously, the defense, number one, but also the offense, the injuries. Derrick Henry, can we use him more? It's going to be interesting to see how they navigate it, but I don't know if I believe it goes anywhere other than what we've seen the past few years, because there's no indication to me that there's going to be a change. That's what I found impressive with the Chiefs this game, is when they came out with those heavy set packages under center a lot. It's like finally, they're changing the game plan and they're doing something different and they're adapting to the situation and the players they have. Let's see if Baltimore can do the same thing. Let's see if they can survive these injuries and get the defense better. If the defense could get better, I think they'll be okay offensively, but the Lamar, big moment situation will come back to bite them in the playoffs. It'll be fun to see if they're able to turn it around. Can they rally? Because they're not out of it. 1-3, I know they're behind the ball, but AFC's wide open. This season is for the taking. We'll see what they do with it.